for a high quality of life for me, that's being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to have the most money in the world or anything like this. It's about just being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And in order to get to that position, of course, you have to be very disciplined in whatever businesses you line up. But you get to that point to where quality of life is everything. You just do how you want to do it.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to this episode of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I am your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite us to join along this journey. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to the Licensed to Live show. While you're there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure I'm providing you with the most up-to-date information about career and life changes. You know what I mean when I say diss. I mean like displaced, disgruntled, disenfranchised. All of these things come into our lives from time to time, and that's what this show is about. Today, we're going to be having a little coffee talk. You know that I like my coffee. I usually have 2 cups every morning. Sometimes I like it black. Sometimes I'll put a splash of this or that in it. And we get to talk with great coffee, longtime friend, sponsor of VIP Day, Emmitt Hayes III, and we will be talking about EH3 coffee today. And it's a very interesting story, so I want you guys to tune in after we thank our sponsors.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Every time I hear that commercial play on the show of EH3 coffee, it just makes me want to sit back and sip on a cup of the coffee and relax. And it just so happened that at License to Live, the conference, EH3 Coffee was one of our premier sponsors. They sponsored the entire VIP Day event. We were able to enjoy EH3 brewed live in the Marriott. And it was just a great afternoon. That really set the tone for some great things. And I hear that commercial and just have watched the brand, and we've had this partnership here on the show. It's just an honor and a privilege to have the CEO and founder of EH3 Coffee, Emmitt Hayes, here with us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What an entrance. I appreciate it.
We're so happy to have you here, and it just so happens that I happen to have some business out on the West Coast in Los Angeles, and I gave Emmitt a call and said, "Hey, are you going to be available to just do a quick live podcast interview?" In which, doing live podcast interviews have just gone by the wayside. But he said, "Hey, he had a little time today, so why not?" So, hey, let's start off, and you're involved in so many things, but I really want to start around the coffee with this, and tell me what got you interested in coffee itself.
Great question. So my main line of business is real estate. I have a real estate company. I'm a real estate broker. And a lot of times when I would go to various different meetings with clients or with, other potential partners, we always say, hey, well, let's go meet up for coffee. And everybody always wanted to meet up, have coffee and meet and talk business. And, I just kind of thought I may want to get my own coffee brand one day. Like I just thought about it one day and then it just opportunities actually came my way years later. And I just kind of took advantage of opportunities thrown my way.
Taking advantages of opportunities that come your way. I mean, they can come in any form. I mean, recently on the podcast, we've been talking about success and various levels of success. And even put a framework around failure, knowing that failure is necessary. And when you would look at you kind of building your own coffee brand and taking your interest and turning it into a passion, you end up doing something you love. So what is, living your life on your own terms like?
To me, that's called quality of life. And for a high quality of life for me, that's being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to have the most money in the world or anything like this. It's about just being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And in order to get to that position, of course, you have to be very disciplined in whatever businesses you line up. But you get to that point to where quality of life is everything. You can just do how you want to do it.
Quality of life. Very well said. That's exactly what it's about. And it seems like you are enjoying life these days. I mean, you mentioned, you're in real estate and really part of what you talked about at the VIP day of the conference was just you were really the multiple revenue stream multiplier segment. And you were talking about just how you've used different revenue streams in order to propel your life forward. Tell us a little about that.
Yes. I'm heavy into real estate. And when I first moved to Los Angeles, a wise mentor of mine told me that in order to live a great quality of life, you need to have multiple streams of revenue. And I really took that to heart. And like I said at the conference, initially, I was thinking multiple different streams of revenue via real estate. But however, as time passed by, I started being able to create other revenue streams totally separate from real estate, like coffee. And, I just kind of kept it going. The whole thing with revenue stream multiplier is you want to have your hand in several different things, creating passive revenue.
If you do that, life will change. So you got to learn from people that have gotten experience in certain segments and have used their expertise and have demonstrated a path forward of success. So I thank you for bringing that to the show. But I know things couldn't always be rosy for you. I mean, part of the thing that we talk about on this show is about being dissed. I mean, I can't imagine your life has just gone through and been completely on the up and up, and you just went from buying single properties to multi-properties, and you said, hey, I'm going to start a coffee business and let that take off. But have you ever been dissed before?
Oh, yeah. I've been dissed several times throughout my career in getting to this point that I'm at. One of the big things that happened to me was the 2008 crash. I had 5 or 6 properties at that time. I was renting them all out. I had rehabbed all of them. So I had tenants in there in line. And in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to sell these properties in a few months and make a bunch of money. And that absolutely did not happen. The market crashed. I lost all those houses either to foreclosure or to short sale. I had to file bankruptcy and literally start all over. So by 30 years old, I thought I was supposed to have my multiple streams of revenue with my feet kicked up then, but instead I am literally filing bankruptcy and having to humble myself, take 2 steps back and go back into the corporate world for a few years before I could step back out on my own as an entrepreneur.
Wow. So you literally lost it all and had to file bankruptcy and start all over again.
Yes.
I mean, so you had to retransition from being on your own to being employed again.
Yes.
But
yes.
you used that moment to empower you and encourage you to move further, to get back to where you once were and beyond.
Absolutely. And one thing that stuck with me is when I was going back into the corporate world, this lady who was trying to get me to work with her real estate team at that time, she said, "Oh, you're just going to be a worker for the rest of your life." And I thought, she doesn't know me. Because anybody who knows me knows I'm not going to be a worker for the rest of my life. I understood you have to sometimes take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward. And that's what I was doing.
You heard it from Emmitt Hayes, folks. Sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to make 3 steps forward. Do not get discouraged out there. Do not feel like things aren't going your way. And know that there's hope out there. There is a better day. And if you need a little bit of help with that, check out my new book, License to Live, Daily Affirmations to Rebuild Your Life, and take a journey for 90 days infusing positivity in your life in which you can start to change your mindset and the framework in which you operate within your life. You can get that book on Amazon, your finer book retailers. And if you are ready to start today, right now, you don't even have time for Prime shipping, you can get 30 days free, a bonus 30 days free. I'll leave the link in the show notes and you can get it now. So Emmitt, where can people find more out about you?
Well, you can go to Instagram. You can find me on my real estate page at Hayes Realty 100, or you can go to EH3 Coffee on all platforms. Either way, you can find me there, or if you want to look up and find out more about EH3 Coffee, you go to eh3coffee.com. And we're also sold on walmart.com.
Very well. You can get your EH3 here. And as you know, we've always had special discounted links in which you can get your coffee directly from EH3. Of course, that's in the show notes. And it just feels great to be in Los Angeles, to actually conduct an interview with you today. Sipping on a little EH3 just feels like the right thing to do. Thanks for coming on the show today, Emmitt.
Thank you for having me, Doc. Appreciate it.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience today, Emmitt?
One last thing. Losses are actually lessons. So it's okay if you're taking a loss as long as you are learning a lesson.
Final judgment. Licensed to live.
That about sums it up. What more can I say? Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed, disengaged, dissatisfied, disgruntled, disenfranchised, if you're taking that loss, make sure you're learning a lesson. Invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and subscribe to License to Live. And in between the episodes, I hang out a lot on LinkedIn, giving comments, talking about what other people are talking about on there. Make sure you follow me there and connect. And we'll see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.